Last week we talked about St. Martin's Lent, which commenced last Tuesday, a time of voluntary fasting in preparation for the feast of the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ, which comes on December 25th and is called Christmas from Christ's Mass. I'd like to talk to you about another possible voluntary fast, one recommended by St. Alphonsus Liguori. It is mentioned in a True Devotion to Mary of St. Louis de Montfort, if you get the right edition. It's been omitted from some editions. Okay, and that is the practice of fasting on Saturdays. St. Bernard says that this day is chosen because Mary remained constant in the faith on Holy Saturday, the day after the death of our Lord Jesus Christ. In Zacharias it says, "I will strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered." Jesus quoted that before his passion in regards to the apostles and the fact that he would be struck on Good Friday, struck down dead, and the apostles, the sheep, did scatter. Read the accounts. St. Peter was not really 100% sure what's going on when Mary Magdalene came in and says, "He's risen from the dead. He's not in the tomb." St. Peter went out and looked, so did the rest of the apostles. But they were scattered, including St. John the Evangelist, according to many. He was scattered for a time. And this prophecy of Zacharias applies to our own time. The Vicar of Christ was struck on October 9, 1958. Unlike many other vacancies in the papacy, that one did not end within a month, within a year, within a decade. It took over 3 decades to end it. What happened? Within 5 years, the sheep, the bishops, were gathered in the Vatican, holding a council erroneously called Vatican II, because it's the second of nothing. It's more like Synod Epistua, a non-Catholic gathering, and they definitely scattered. But let us return to the point of fasting on Saturdays. St. Alphonsus says, for this reason that we just discussed, the servants of Mary never fail on this day to offer her some special homage. In other words, we should do something special for the Blessed Virgin on Saturdays. Do something. And particularly, some fasted on bread and water, as St. Charles Borromeo, Cardinal Toledo, and so many others. And he goes on. He said of Father Joseph Arriaga of the Society of Jesus, did not even taste food on Saturday. Now, I don't know if anyone is really up to that in these days. Okay? So I'm not going to recommend such an extreme fast. In fact, I'm not even going to recommend the black fast I talked about last week without the advice of your spiritual director. And since most of you don't have a spiritual director, when I talk about fasting, I'm talking about the current fast laws of the Church, or exceeding them to some extent. Maybe possibly cutting to 2 meals. Okay? But if it impairs your ability to perform your duties, don't go there. So when I'm quoting from the saints, I'm putting this proviso in, because we must be prudent. Our bodies have been attacked, okay? You go out to the grocery store, go down some of those aisles, that's not really good for you. It's on some of those aisles, and we've all consumed it. I mean, they are raping our food. So we have to be careful because our bodies have been weakened. St. Alphonsus says, he who practices this devotion, that's fasting on Saturdays, I may say, will hardly be condemned. Not that Our Lady would deliver him by a miracle if he dies in mortal sin. Okay. No. Such prodigies of divine mercy seldom take place. Never rely on a miracle. It would be madness to expect eternal salvation by them. But I do say that the Divine Mother will readily obtain perseverance and divine grace and a good death for him who will practice this devotion. In other words, we will persevere in the faith. Don't think, okay, I'm going to fast on Saturday and I'll sin like hell the rest of the time. It doesn't work that way. True, someone may have this happen to them. These prodigies are there to give us hope. But the second we hear that we should change our ways, we should change our ways because it might be the last time. St. Alphonsus discusses this elsewhere. Other saints say, God gives you so many chances, then he says, forget you. All right. Okay. Then he gives some more advice here. Let's see. I say those who can do so, meaning that if anyone is prevented from doing so on account of ill health, at least on Saturday he may content himself with one dish. Okay. I mean, how do we eat now on, all days? Okay. We can lay out pretty good spread there. We could content ourselves with one dish. Maybe a bowl of healthy soup. Maybe we might need 2. I don't know. Make a common fast. Okay. Apparently he's been advising pretty extreme one. Or at least abstain from fruits or other agreeable food. Okay, we could eat something that we should eat, but we don't really like that. I should eat this, but I usually eat that. So on Saturdays, maybe I better go over here and eat what I should eat, what's good for me. It is necessary, says St. Alphonsus, on Saturday to offer special devotions to Our Lady, to receive communion. Now that's not possible for most today, but so make a spiritual communion. Or at least hear Mass again. Not possible for most people. But you can do something. Visit some image of the Virgin. Now, we should be able to do that. Wear a hair cloth. Now, I don't know if we can do that. I'm not sure where you can buy a hair shirt. I've been told there are people who know. I'm not sure who they are. But that's not possible. And the like. And at least on the vigils of the 7 feasts of the Blessed Virgin Mary, let her servants endeavor to offer this fasting on bread, or in any other manner they are able. Okay. Before I get to the 7 feasts of the Blessed Virgin Mary, let's consider Fatima and the first Saturdays. We should at least do the meditation for 15 minutes on the mysteries of the Rosary on first Saturdays, in addition to saying a third part of the Rosary. We might think about doing the whole 15 decades. But the meditation, at least on first Saturdays, all of them, not just 5, all of them. We can't go to confession and communion, which most can't still. Perfect act of contrition, spiritual communion. Set first Saturday aside. Okay, the 7 feasts of the Blessed Virgin Mary. We go to the Immaculate Conception, the birth of Blessed Virgin Mary. Okay, Immaculate Conception, December 8th. Birth of Blessed Virgin Mary is on September 8th. Then we have her presentation, which is 80 days later, sometime in November. I think it's around the 22nd. I don't have the list in front of me, unfortunately. I'll post this on popespeaks.com, and you can look for it there. Okay, we have her presentation. Then I believe next is the Annunciation, March 25th. And then for the presentation of Jesus in the temple, February 2nd. Oh, the Visitation comes July 2nd. See how many have I got there. And then finally, of course, her Assumption into heaven. We can fast on those 7 vigils. March 25th we'll be fasting anyway. Lent. Don't forget Lent. But let us have a bigger devotion to Blessed Virgin Mary. What's another thing we're told at Fatima? She said, "In the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph." Parts of Fatima are conditional, like the period of peace. If we stop sinning, we get the period of peace. Well, we didn't stop sinning, we did not get the period of peace. Okay. Fatima gets misinterpreted this way. Well, I'll discuss that elsewhere. And so, let us observe the fast on Saturdays and on the 7 feasts of the vigil of the 7 feasts of the Blessed Virgin Mary. And on feast days, we do not fast, because feasting and fasting are opposed to each other. But the best way to prepare for a feast is by a fast. And so God bless you.